I want to say a big thank you for your valuable time in watching this video. This video gives a brief intro into the book that I'm about to launch, and I will say a lot of thank you for everybody that's supporting this, and this has been a long project of mine. This book is about something that all tennis players do, okay? But none of them so far has done it with a system. We all do it, but how come we don't do it with a system? So we want to share with everybody a system that is worked for me. I've devised it to help a lot of students, and it's proven to work. We've done a lot of research, a lot of reading to support the system, and we've shown success, so that's why we hope this book can help a lot more players use this training systematically. So this is shadow tennis. We all do shadow tennis, but somehow there's never been a system that has been written to help players use shadow tennis systematically. Okay, so that's number one. Through our system of shadow tennis, we emphasize the training must be done slower and also without a ball, because there is an important rule that if you want to be more cautious of your movement, you've got to go slower. You regress so that you can progress. You take a step back so that it can go forward a lot more later. So that's one of the concepts that we do. And the first step of our shadow tennis, our systematic shadow tennis movement training, is to make players understand that they must go slower first and use it without a ball. Okay? I'll give you an example. If you have a room that's black, pitch black, right? And then you light up 2 candles in the room, you notice it immediately. Okay? Those candles represent the messages that you fire to your body. So if you got nothing right now and then you fire 2 messages, you notice it straight away. However, if there's a room with 100 candles and then you light up 2, you don't really notice those 2 candles because there's so many things happening in that room. So the 100 candles represent the amount of messages that you're sending in the system, in the room, and an extra 2 you don't really notice. So if you want to notice more about your movement, then you got to slow things down. Okay? As coaches, players, we can all benefit by taking a step back and slowing things down. Okay, so in our book, just to share with you, we'll give the intro on why shadow tennis movement training is as such as this system, and all the research that backs it up for movement training, slow movement training, and how people learn, how skill acquisition, and also how players can also understand more by learning the right way through sight, sound, touch, and neutralizing all the senses that they have. And then the next thing we have is the grips. We will not label the names on the grips because that just confuses everybody. Instead, there will be a system of numbering according to the bevel that's on the racket. And we'll offer our recommendation for players to use to practice while they go through the movements and stages. However, we're still okay with people and players to use their own grips, okay? Because grips are, maintained and natural, but we offer our recommendation because that's been very proven to be more beneficial in the long run. If you have the right grip, then you can do more things and more adequate and more efficient technique. Okay, so that's the grip part. Then we offer our stages. Okay. First, we offer the stages of each shot. So we've got forehand, backhand, one-handed backhand, two-handed backhand. We've got volleys. We've got overheads. We've got serve, and then we got the return of serve. Okay, so that's just in a summary. But anyways, on the strokes part, on the stages part, we've got the 4 stages. So on the 4 stages, we start off slow, and it's segmented. What that means is on the slow, you will have photos to show the different stages of the strokes where the reader readers and the athletes can follow visually, so visual learner. There is also text, but there's also visual learning. So each stage, the reader must follow and replicate, as we all learn, we're visual learners, to replicate each movement stage by stage, segmented. So they will take their time in comparing to the photos that's in the section. So each stage, they will pause. That's why it's segmented. Next is where you go flow. So from slow to flow, you put the stages together. You start to move among the photos. Why that's necessary is because now you're going to continue to give the flow. Okay? Smooth, continuous fashion, putting all those things together, and that's the second step. So there's continuity of movement. However, we still do it slow. The third one, after flow, is breathing. We encourage all athletes and readers, when they learn the system, after the slow flow, and now it's on the breathing stage, is to inhale during the loading, and then exhale during the stroke, where they're going ahead and executing the shot during contact. Why that's necessary is because breathing is very important for relieving tension, keeping the shot smooth, and if you can hear the sound is very smooth, then the shot is very smooth and continuous. So that's why this is one of the important parts of the system. Third part is breathing stage. The fourth stage is the most powerful one, is where the player will visualize the outcome of the shot before they go ahead and execute. That's normal because that's what actually happens, right? And also that's very important, as players visualize, then they execute. It's proven to be more effective. And also one more thing is, if you want to coach them better, you also utilize visualization of outcome. So for example, one of the advanced coaching method is, I tell the student, this is what I want. They will execute the technique to get that outcome. So the student's actually quite intelligent. So for example, you got two side views on the tennis court. This is the net, service line, baseline, net, service line, baseline. So for example, this is just an example where I've got this is the net level, and we are here on this side, okay? And I would have a ball that's struck from lower than the level of the net, and the players will have to hit up. This is a rising trajectory, and it crosses the net high, and then we tell them to envision the ball that's landing deep, and then the ball to rise up. For example, this is a topspin high looper, heavy high topspin loop, more defensive in nature, rising trajectory. On the other hand, if we have a ball that's above the level of the net, I would tell the students to envision a more penetrating trajectory. So the ball will shoot right through. After it leaves the racket, it doesn't go up as much, but it just goes straight through. It crosses the net at a lower trajectory, lower clearance, lower height over the net, and we still tell them to envision the landing. However, the bounce has a more speed-focused and more penetrating bounce from the court surface, different from this high bouncing one, and both of these are for examples of topspin. So we would tell the student to envision the outcome corresponding to the technique we want them to train. So for the visualization stage, be sure to tell the student or the reader, to visualize the outcome first before they go ahead and execute the technique, the shadow tennis movement corresponding to that visualization. So just to summarize, then we have the stroke section. The stroke section is the blueprints, the sections, stages by stage of each shot. So On the ground strokes, we have forehand, backhand, one-handed backhand, two-handed backhand, on a front view and a side view. So you see both. You have neutral stance and a open stance. We don't do closed stance because what happens is if it's closed, they need to swing the leg back open. So right now we want them to get the basics really solid, plus they're moving slow. So I want them to stay balanced and hold the pose when they finish the stroke. So that's just a little summary there, little insight. So on the volleys, we have forehand, backhand volley, low ball and high ball, and then we have a progression to the slice ground strokes, because when you learn volley, afterwards you can progress it into a slice. You have overhead and the serve. Now on the overhead and the serve, because it's up here, you're going to have 3 different views. The serve is one of the most complicated shots in the game, so we have 3 views: the front view, side view, and the back view. And then we have the return of serve. Return of serve, we have 2 views, the side and the front, and we have 3 different types depending on the speed of the serve, from offensive to more defensive. So hopefully these few minutes have given some info, some sharing on the Shadow Tennis Movement Training book, and hope you guys can get a copy and also practice, spend some time on it, because by spending time on the system, it has proven that it gives you performance improvement. We've been very proud of it. We've been very happy to have a lot of testimonials from amazing coaches and players. I've been very honored and hope you guys can join us in this journey in, first of all, getting a copy of this book, and then going to practice, and then eventually joining our course. Thank you.